Hello, this is Bradley Needham. I'm going to be creating a class template. I'm going to start with a simple stack class, and then I'm going to convert it into a class template. So let's look at this initial class. The class stack basically holds a stack of integers. It has an index that represents the top, and then it has an array that holds the integers in my stack. The stack is sized by this maxNum constant integer that I've set to 10 here. Now, upon initialization, the stack initializes the mtop to -1, which will represent an empty stack. Let's implement some of the methods here. For the push method, one way we could implement it is we could initially check to see if the stack has overflowed or not. And if it hasn't, we can push the value onto the stack. For the pop method, we could check to make sure that the stack is not empty, and if it isn't empty, go ahead and pop the value off. For the top method, we're just going to return the element at the top index. For empty, we just need to return whether mtop is less than 0. Alright, let's see how we would use this stack. Example here, we create an instance of the stack, we push several elements onto it. As long as the stack is not empty, we can print out the top element and then pop it off. Let's run that, and we get our output 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as we expect. So now let's look at this implementation and turn it into a class template. So right now we can only store integers in our stack, and we might like to store things like doubles or floats or chars, but still use the same stack implementation because the only difference is the type that it's holding. We'd also like to be able to maybe have stacks of different sizes rather than always being restricted to this maxNum that is set one point in the application. So let's go ahead and get rid of this constant, and let's specify that the stack is going to be a template. So we start that by saying template, and then we pass some parameters to the template. The first parameter is going to be of type typename, and we're going to call it T. So what this means is that T now is going to represent a type when the template is instantiated. The second parameter is just going to be of int, and that's going to be the maxNum, and it's a constant expression which allows us then to create an array of that size. Where do we need to specify the type? The index is still going to be an int because the index is always an int into the array. The array itself is where we're going to change. This is no longer going to be of type int, but of type T. So whenever we instantiate a stack, we can specify whether it's a stack of integers or a stack of doubles or a stack of any other type. maxNum is going to be the same. The only difference here is that maxNum is being passed in upon template instantiation instead of being a constant. So here the initialization is still the same. We initialize the top to -1. The change to push, though, we're pushing in now values of type T, no longer values of type int. So we specify T here and the parameter to push. Nothing else has to change in this method. For pop, it's not dealing with element types, it's simply dealing with the index, and the index hasn't changed, so we'll simply leave pop method alone. For the top method, the thing that's going to change here is the return type. Since top is actually returning an element of the type that is stored in the stack, we need to specify that as T. And for empty, this again doesn't have to change because it's dealing just with the index value, which is mtop. Now down here in our usage of the stack, because stack is now a template, we have to specify what is the type the stack is going to store. So we're going to say int, that's the type it's going to store. And how many elements is it going to hold? We're going to go ahead and say 5 because we only need 5 elements in this example. Now let's go ahead and change what we're pushing on, and then we'll rerun this, and our stack still works, and we print out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, basically the reverse of what was pushed on to the stack this way. Here again is the templatized version. We simply replaced everywhere we had an int, which was the element being stored, with T. And now we can also go down here, and instead of storing integers in my stack, maybe I want to store doubles and run it, and notice we get the doubles out. Hope this helps.